In a humble home in Juniper Town, where the harsh winter had depleted the last of the kitchen stores, a mother crafted a resourceful meal that transformed her family's fortune. One night, a fierce wind extinguished the last embers of the stove, just as a secret came to light that astonished everyone. Battling hunger, cold, and scarcity, a family discovered the true meaning of warmth. This is a story of how resourcefulness, Jugaad, doesn't just make food, it mends relationships. The bitter cold held Juniper Town in its grip. Every chimney was shrouded in smoke and mist. In one of the town's modest stone houses lived Riaz, his wife Farah, their daughter Sana, and their son Omar. The intensity of the cold grew daily, making it nearly impossible to reach the market. And even if they did, the shops were often closed. The family's stock of flour and lentils was dwindling, and the supply of vegetables was completely gone. Worried, Farah muttered to herself, "What can I possibly cook today? I can't think of a thing." Inside, Sana and Omar huddled under a blanket, restless with hunger. Sana called out loudly, "Ammi, please make something to eat quickly. You know the cold makes us twice as hungry." After continuous thought, poor Farah sat by the cold hearth and said to herself, "I'll have to make do with what we have. I will create a resource, a jugaad. Whether it's cold or difficult, I can't let my family go hungry." Just then, Farah's neighbor, Shehla, came over and said, "Farah, I always say that in winter, resourcefulness is a lifeline. Use what you have left and make something delicious, because we have no other option." The small, clay stove trembled like weak legs. Its surface cracked. The firewood had been damp all night, making it nearly impossible to light, and eventually, the weak flame died out. After Shehla left, Farah tried to relight the stove, but the damp wood wouldn't catch. The kitchen quickly filled with smoke, making it hard to breathe. When Riaz found out, he went outside and gathered small, dry twigs from around the house. He tied them together and, blowing on them vigorously, managed to coax the stove back to life. Finally, the stove began to glow. To save firewood, Farah decided against cooking separate bread and curry. Instead, she mixed leftover lentil curry with flour and a few spices, kneading it all together into a dough. With the spiced lentil dough, Farah began making piping hot parathas, flatbreads, on the griddle. The aroma, unlike any they had smelled before, spread throughout the entire house. When the scent of the warm lentil parathas reached the children, they started talking excitedly. Sana said, "Omar, I think Ammi is making something wonderful. The smell is so delicious." Omar agreed, "Yes, Sana, it is. I can't wait for Ammi to bring the food." When the lentil parathas were ready, Farah first filled her children's plates. The rising steam brought smiles to their faces. Sana took the first bite, her eyes widening. "Ammi, wow, these are incredible. So delicious. I can't even describe it." No matter how harsh the cold was outside, this resourceful meal created a warm atmosphere indoors. Everyone laughed, talked, and ate, as if love itself had melted the winter chill. After dinner, the children fell asleep. But in the deep of the night, a strong wind began to rattle the windows, making Farah worry that the stove's fire might go out. What would they do in the morning? Riaz said, "The cold tonight is dangerous. Let's cover the stove." She quickly went and carefully covered the clay stove with bricks. She wanted the stove to retain its warmth until the morning. "This fire is our only support," she whispered to herself. When morning arrived, a weak sun was shining. Farah rushed to the stove and saw that it was still faintly glowing. She was overjoyed and said, "The jugaad worked again today." A little later, her neighbor Shehla came over and said, "Farah, the most delicious smell was coming from your house yesterday. Tell us, what did you make?" Farah smiled and shared her recipe for the lentil parathas, saying, "It's just jugaad, the real food of winter." From then on, the family began eating lentil parathas every night. Riaz would tell Farah, "You've proven that resourcefulness, not just abundance, keeps a home warm." And so, even in the severity of winter, their home glowed with love. The moral of this story is that in difficult times, resourcefulness is the greatest skill. Making do with little teaches us to connect our hearts, because it is an empty heart, not an empty kitchen, that becomes the real problem.